Okay, so I just need to document something. This is very disturbing, but I'm gonna document this right now because we're at a point where it looks like Karen and Jim, they put a for sale sign in front of the Ark, and they sent all the members of the Ark, as well as Beat City, a text that they're selling the property. They sent me a very short little email. I'm going to make everything public because I think everything should be public. I mean, I financially backed the Ark tremendously. A lot of improvements, a whole lot of money went into improvements. Just one building over $30,000 into the little Ark building, with electrical, plumbing, walls, accoutrements, bathtubs, showers, shower pans, all that good stuff. Trips going there. There's over $30,000 in that one little building. It looks as though they seek to expel everybody. I've talked to every member of the Ark, and I was like, did Jim and Karen tell you guys to start looking for a place to stay? Not at all. No one's been told anything. No, they haven't been told they should start looking for a place to stay. They haven't been told, yes, we're putting it on the market. None of those things have happened. So anyways, I talked to every single person. I talked to Dave the Wave. I talked to Alex and Alyssa. I talked to, did they say they were to tell y'all to find a place to live? Did they tell you we're putting it on the market? Any of that stuff? Nothing. I talked to Eric and Susie, Megan. Nobody's received any communication from Jim and Karen. Y'all need to find a place to live because we're selling the Ark. Where all this money and improvements from myself as well as maybe y'all. I mean, I know there's some people that I've come to find out recently that have donated pretty substantial amounts of money, 5,000 here, 6,000 there, 5,000 here, not including 10,000 I gave to Jim for one of the trailers that was donated to the Ark. I gave Jim $10,000 and I said, here's money for the tenants. I'll take one of the trailers and use it for a few months while my son lives in it, while he was at the drop zone, trying to become a skydiving instructor. So I put the trailer there, but then I sent it back. But I gave Jim $10,000. Mike, who's donated several things, donated an old Mustang, and I gave Jim $15,000 for the Mustang that was donated to help the people at the Ark. So I said, you know what? I'll help convert that to cash. And I took the car. You couldn't get rid of the car today in the conditions it's in for $15,000, I don't believe. But anyway, so long story short, so there's just 25 in cash, not to mention a whole lot of other money that was given to Jim and Karen. Okay. Sorry, dealing with a little glitch here. So now the tenants from the Ark, got an email, or they got a text message. I saved all the text messaging. A text message went out to everybody that's there. Now, here's the thing. Corey's sitting over here. Zach, I've talked to everybody. I've talked to all the tenants. No one has received anything from Jim and Karen saying to start looking for a relocation. Nobody has. There's been $30,000 just put in, over 30 on just the one building that I got ready for everybody, to show up. That building was bought with money that I gave to Jim. I gave Jim $5,000. I told him, please don't make any big purchases unless you at least talk to me, since I was so heavy in funding the Ark. But he bought that building. He said it was just too good a deal to pass up. He put the building in his name, and I've been making the payments on that building through monies that I left there in budgets to pay the electricity, pay the internet, pay both places, Beat City as well as the Ark. I left them a budget to pay those bills. Now, there's a budget to pay all the bills for all the tenants. Corey, you were there, yes?
Yep.
Okay, then, but what changed about the Ark? I mean, what happened? I mean, why is the Ark not just doing what the Ark was doing? Getting ready for a get-together where everybody gets together, a night under the stars. Everything was going, relatively well. There was some dysfunctionality, and it actually stemmed from Jim and Karen, and some stuff that occurred in a kind of a lack of spiritual leadership way out there. And the Lord told me to go over there and take over the government. Corey, were you there?
Yep.
and the Lord told me to go to the ark, tell Jim and Karen, I'm taking over the government here, like the management, because it was being mismanaged. Is that true? Did I do that in front of you?
Yep.
Absolutely?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so I did that in front of Jim and Karen. What was their response? Why don't you come up here, Corey? What was their response to me showing up with you saying, hey, the Lord told me to come here and take over the...
They were excited that you were going to do that.
Why don't you pull a chair up right here and we'll talk. Anyway, yeah, they were like, oh, thank God you're here to do that, because it was probably a little too much for them. Jim certainly wasn't, as a new believer, he wasn't grounded in his walk yet. It takes a while if you get converted to get your feet on the ground very well. And there was an undermining going on through Karen, and that's what this is going to come down to. And so anyway, here's one thing that's very disturbing that's going on recently, just in the past few days. And I posted a letter that Jim and Karen are selling the ark, and then I posted some stuff that's going on. I posted my rebuttal right here to Karen saying that she had cast a lot. And Karen said she had cast a lot, and this is the word the Lord gave her, was malleable. And I had just confronted her, and Corey's sitting here. I just confronted Karen, and I said, look, you are asking people at the ark to pay bills here. That is not what the ark is. I mean, they're asking people that are disabled on disability to pay electric and to pay bills. And I said, wait a minute. I've given you guys so much money the money that other people have donated, that all the bills are paid, all their bills, their electric. The electric runs about $6 a month at one place, maybe $3 at the other, something like that. Yeah. And so I was made sure that they had money, and I was giving them money to pay bills, and I was giving the tenants money as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
All the tenants.
All.
I was trying to make sure everybody had everything they needed to take care of everything they needed to take care of.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, so no one was in need, or no one lacked. I'm going to put my hat on the other way. So no one was in need. Nobody lacked anything. So anyway, Zach just walked out, so we're going to incorporate him into this. So anyway, so, here we are, where my heart's in this all the way. Jim says, hey, well, I'm going to start the ark. I'm like, oh, okay. Corey and I were like, wow, I think you bit off more than you can chew, but okay. It's a great idea for everybody. So Corey and I went and worked our ass off for a year and a half at different points during the year to install a bathroom in the man cave that was previously used for something else. And we went in there and we changed it, and we put in a bathroom, spent probably $7,000, $8,000 in 7-degree weather, putting in walls, framing up, putting in the plumbing, got a plumber. He was a disaster. But we still got the bathroom in. And then we continued to make improvements on the ark the whole time, and funding it and giving the money, and other people were funding and giving the money. I've started finding out recently, and Corey knows this, that other people have been donating pretty substantial amounts of money to Karen and Jim. Well, if you take the $10,000 that I gave them for a trailer, I gave them $10,000 for a trailer that Ryan donated, okay? So I said, you know what? Like I said, here's $10,000. I'm going to use the trailer for a few months. I'll put it back. So if anybody needs it, because nobody was using it right then. And so I gave them the money. That money could have paid everybody's bills for a year. $10,000 paid all the electric for all the tenants. I gave them $15,000 for a Mustang that Mike done. It's sitting right out here in the driveway. I gave it to my son, but the car is a mechanical issue, and he doesn't know how to work on it. And so anyway, my son said, Dad, would you just mind taking the car back? And I was like, yeah, okay. So I have the car sitting in the driveway, but I gave Jim $15,000 for the vehicle. That could have paid everybody's electricity and internet for another year. I mean, but the thing is, Karen was asking people to chip in and pay for bills, and I confronted Karen, and this is what changed the entire landscape of the ark. I confronted Karen, and I said, Karen, why in the world would you ask people to pay on bills that I'm already paying, that we're already giving you money for, and you've gotten quite a bit of money? What's the deal? Why would you ask them? Because you're demeaning them, making them feel like beggars. And then I said, Karen, you of all people, because the Lord had me lay hands on her. And Karen yelled at me. She goes, Johnny, it wasn't you that healed me. It was the Lord. I was just like, yeah, I know it was the Lord. He sent me. I was just like, no kidding. Yeah, I know, because the last year of my life, I've been out here working on this place called the Ark for the well-being of all these people that need a place to live. And it looks like you guys were being so generous and open-handed. But wait a minute, where's all the money going? And so anyway, I had that talk with Karen, and Karen was very rude to me. She even said, it's not you that healed me, Johnny. It was the Lord. At that point, I knew something was not right. And I elected just to, tamp it down and said, you know what? Let's move on. Nobody needs to pay. Eric and Susie, who are on disability, Eric and Susie are giving them we're giving them $300 a month. Started chipping in on bills. I was like, what? Dave is totally incapacitated. Dave can't work or do it. Dave works for me doing internet stuff. There have been people that have been put at the Ark that changed it from dun. That's what the Ark looked like before. And then all these people, Zach and Alex and even Lee, who was out there, who we removed, all these people were there making this place better because it was going to be a place for people to live. I was infusing money to make the structures, and, Jim's buying structures in his name without even asking me. And I was like, I asked him, if you're going to make any big purchases, let me know. And then he bought a building that had basically, I guess, a $10,000 note. And he bought it without even asking me. But I've been helping make all the payments. And then I paid to convert it. And now they're selling the Ark without telling anybody. They're just like, okay, here's a for sale sign. Here's a text. Get out. That's like, wait a minute. Time out. That's wrong. Okay, there's no goodwill in that. Listen to me. If there was goodwill involved, you would have called everybody and said, hey, guys, we're in a financial bad situation. We don't know what to do. So we need to sell the Ark. But you know what? There's been a lot of money that got put into the Ark. And what we can do is we can take that money out when we sell it and help to relocate you guys. There hasn't been a mention of any of this. But listen, this gets really, really good. This turns out really prophetic. So anyway, I was befuddled the other day, just a few days ago, and I got an email from Jim saying, we are selling the property at Ronda Rosa. And if you have any questions, contact Alyssa. And I said, we have more to talk about than just that. And why in the world would I call Alyssa? Put a RE/MAX sign out there a couple days ago. We don't understand it. Again, we called the realtor. He said he had a signed agreement from Jim and Karen, but he hasn't even walked the property. Is that what he said? These are his words. I haven't even walked the property. Well, I told him, well, it's kind of odd because there's people living there. I explained to him this was an outreach, and I said, I'm heavily invested in the Ark, the facilitation of improvements, the buildings, the bathroom and the man cave, changing it from what it was to something that was livable, where people could go in there and have a bathroom. And it went from that, and then Jim bought the other building. We put the building there, and before the get together, we put the bathrooms and all that stuff in the new building. Now, this brings up the part that I told you something changed. And Karen had been speaking contemptuously about the tenants and in a demeaning way, saying, well, it would be really nice if they chipped in and helped a little bit around here, in a hateful way. And I was like, wait, Karen, wait a minute. Jim hasn't had a job in, 4 or 6 years, something like that. Y'all's bills, I'm willing to help pay all y'all's bills, including your portion of the electric. The bills that y'all normally had on a monthly basis. And now there's people here, and I'm not going to let them increase your bills. There's no way I would do that. So I'll make sure you have money for their bills and your bills. Is that true?
There was never a burden placed on Jim and Karen financially. No way.
There was no financial burden placed on Jim and Karen. None. We overstocked them with financial blessings to take care of everyone. Okay, so what changed? like I said, Karen was asking tenants to pay on bills. And I confronted her and I said, Karen, that's just not right. That's wrong. You cannot ask people to pay bills that I've already paid. That, I'm helping you guys financially. I'm giving you 10 for a trailer that's a donation that I even gave back, 15 for a car that was a donation. I mean, that's all this money could be used to take care of everybody and then some. Because I give everybody money for food and all that too. So what's going on? Karen was livid. She yelled at me, you didn't heal me, Johnny. The Lord did. I was like, okay, all right. So anyway, we were still on our way to the night under the stars. All right. So I was like, okay, we got to get to the night under the stars. I got to get this building converted. So what I did was I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm making 3 separate budgets. Corey was there.
Yep.
Corey was right there. And I said, there's going to be one budget. I think it was like 7,000 plus to finish the ARC building, the building that, was there that said ARC that Jim bought without asking me, but I'm making the payments on that building. So anyway, so there was a 7,000 budget there, and then another budget to pay the bills at Beach City, where Karen and Jim and their child live, because I was willing to help pay all those bills as well, to pay those bills and the electric at the ARC as well. And then there was another fund that was for the accoutrements for food and whatever else needed to happen during the get together. So I was willing to pay all that and put separate budgets. But I said, I want an accounting of everything. I want a Ziploc baggie. I want every receipt for everything going into a Ziploc baggie, because Corey is there when I asked him to give some kind of, well, where's all the money you guys get?
Yeah.
And Karen was livid. She was offended, very offended that I would even ask.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, wait a minute. I was giving you guys a lot of money. You guys don't know. And Jim was like, well, I took money from here and I used it for here. And right in front of Corey, I just went, you know what? Stop. I don't care. And I went like I had a big chalkboard and I said, you know what? I'm erasing the whole chalkboard. I don't care. Whatever y'all did with it, it doesn't matter. Let's get to the night under the stars. Let's just do that. Here your new budgets are. And so that's where we were. Okay. But Karen was visibly annoyed that I had confronted her about asking tenants to pay for it. And she was very offended at the next time when I said, well, where's all this money? She was super annoyed. So anyway, we started 3 new budgets. We began working on the ARC thing, which is what we did. We get through the ARC thing. We get through the night under the stars. And then after the night under the stars, I'm sitting here with Corey and I'm just like, hanging out. And then out of left field, I hear the Lord tell me, Jonathan, call Karen and confront Karen. She is speaking contemptuously. And I was like, what? When was the night under the stars? What was the date? Here, let me get the date. So right now I'm just checking on the date for the night under the stars. I want to make sure all the dates that we give them to you, so everybody knows everything. I want everything out on the table, because this looks like a very prophetic thing that's lining up. It's like, anyway.
So, Night Under the Stars, night 1 was February 19th.
So February 19th was night 1 of Night Under the Stars. Okay, I'll call you back. So February 19th was the first night. So it was, a 3-day event, basically? Yeah. So anyway, so February 19th. So the confrontation with Karen happened before February 19th. Her yelling at me, Jonathan, it wasn't you that healed me, it was the Lord. I said, no kidding. I know he sent me, and I've been coming here for the last year and a half working on this place called the ARC. That was Jim's, idea, which was a noble idea. So anyway, so we have the get together, Night Under the Stars. Do you know what the parthenogenic twin female system was hiding in the system? Here's what it was hiding. It was hiding our other eye. Our eye that goes to the stars. That's what the whole system had hidden, our ability to see the Lord God. And it was hidden down in the system. Do you get it? And so in front of Zach and Corey, in the vehicle I was driving, the day I was driving my vehicle, and we were on our way back to do more work on that ARC building, I looked at Corey and Zach and I said, guys, right now the Lord is telling me, if I step out, on faith and tell them tonight, at the ARC, he will show up and prove that what I'm telling y'all is the absolute truth. Is that true?
Yeah, true.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I was on Weather Watch.
Yeah, Corey was on Weather Watch because I was kind of like, oh, it's going to rain. That's going to ruin it. So anyway, so long story short, what happened was I told him that. I said, well, we got to, after work today, we're going to have to do a night under that. We're going to have to go out to the, the ark, and I'm going to show them that our other eye is the eye in the sky. That's who we are. And the Lord's going to show, he said he would show up. I don't even know what the heck that really means. So he told me to invite Jim and Karen specifically. True?
Yep, true.
And so we went back to Beach City that after work that day. We were all eating. It was a good time. And then Corey was on Weather Watch because I was very concerned about the weather. I didn't want it to rain because how am I going to go up and say, look up, guys, you see the stars the Lord showed me? We are the stars in the sky. That's our other eye. One eye goes to the pit, to a worm, to a locust. Satan's the head of all the locusts, so he sees through every eye, which there's one in every human being, from that side. And then on the other side, the Lord sees from heaven through our other eye, and we're the stars. That was what the night under the stars was going to be about. And so we go out there, and we get out there, and we're standing in the little ark building, or I am, and they're standing down there. There was no deck, and I was talking to everybody, and I said, look, here's the deal. And Alex and Alyssa come driving up, and I said, well, I guess they're supposed to be here because the Lord didn't tell me to specifically invite Alex and Alyssa, but they showed up. And I said, well, I guess the Lord wants them here as well. So they walked up, and I said, okay. I said, so the Lord told me if I brought y'all out here to look up, and I looked up and I was inside the building, and on the ceiling, on the inside of the building, it said, look for the G, like that was the manufacturer of the ark building. And I said, the Lord told me to look up, and it says, look for the G. And then outside the building, the clouds had coalesced and made a perfect eye in the sky. And the colored part of the eye was a rainbow. Let me show you something. Dave, I think Dave did a really good picture on this. Hang on one sec, because there's a lot going on. Let me see. Where is it? Hang on, guys. Give me one. There we go. So we looked up, and we basically saw something that looked about like this with the moon in the middle. And then the colored part of the eye was a rainbow. And there was an X in the dead center of it. It was the craziest thing. We all looked up and just went like, we freaked out, yes?
Yeah.
It was the Lord showing up as he had promised. I was like, oh. So we're the stars. So a big eye in the sky shows up to prove your other eye is me in the sky. And he showed up as a big eye in the sky using the moon and the clouds. And then the stars were still out. It was so miraculous. And Jim and Karen and I and Zach and Corey and Alex and Alyssa all sat there. I did a video on it. I documented it. Okay, so anyway, now let's get to what's going on. So we have all this, phenomenal supernatural get-together. And then after the get-together, a while after, I'm here in San Antonio, I hear the Lord tell me, call and confront Karen out of nowhere. And I was like, what? Call and confront Karen about what? And the Lord told me, she is speaking evil. She is speaking contemptuously about you and about the ministry I gave you. And Corey's here. I was like, what? No. Really? Come on. Really, Lord? And Corey, did I want to believe it?
No.
No, I didn't want to believe it at all. But I remember Karen had already said, Johnny, it was the Lord that healed me, not you. And I was like, okay, that was weird. So anyway, I prayed. I said, okay, Lord, in front of Corey, if that's true and you want me to confront Karen, kind of like Nathan confronted David, I said, if you really want me to confront her, you've got to slam dunk this. And so I said, so I'm going to open this book, and it's going to have to tell me that she's speaking contemptuously right in front of Corey.
Yep.
I walked over and I opened up the source, and it said, speaking contemptuously. I was like, oh my God. So anyway, so what I did was I was like bummed out. And I said, okay, so I got to call Karen and confront her. So I called Karen, and I got her on the phone. She put me on speakerphone with Jim there, I believe. And I said, look, Karen, the Lord told me that, you're to call and confront you. This is very, very awkward, but this is what he told me to do. So I'm doing what he said. He said, you're speaking contemptuously about me. And Karen's like, oh, no, I'm not. No. Is that true, Corey? She denied it?
She did.
Over
3 times.
Okay, so she denied it repetitively. I said, Karen, stop. I'm not telling you that some person told me. I don't need a person to tell me The Lord himself will tell me. The Lord God whom I serve. You know, the one that sent me to lay hands on you. That Lord. He told me that you are speaking contemptuously about me and about people in the ministry. So I'm asking you now, in the presence of the Lord God, yes or no? Corey, is that exactly what I said?
Exactly.
Hopefully, maybe they made a recording of it and they can play it for you. I said, are you speaking contemptuously? And Karen, who one of her weird little idiosyncrasies is, and I've never really fully understood it, she started laughing. She's like, okay, yeah, we've started doing that. That's true or not true?
Yep.
100% true.
100%.
And I was like, what? Why? I was like, Karen, why in the world would you be speaking contemptuously? What in the hell did I do? Oh my gosh, why? And then I said, you know, it's so crazy, but the Lord told me you and Jim are like a self-licking ice cream cone. Like one of you serves it up and the other one licks it and you hand it back and forth to each other. I'm like, you know, one of you speaks evil, the other one grabs it, speaks evil back to the other one. I said, what are y'all doing? Why would you do that? And Karen was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, yeah, Johnny, I don't know why I would do that. So let me show you what happened. Karen did a video, and this is the video, and what we're going to do is that video is available. She did 2 videos. She did a video and she posted it on her YouTube channel and she sent it to me. Like, look how sorry I am. And she was crying, and I'm so sorry that I've hurt my brother. Jonathan's everything he says he is. He's a prophet. He laid hands on me. He did all these incredible miracles, blah, 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 blah. And the Lord told me, don't believe a word of it. I'm just saying, Corey, true?
True.
And I was like, but as I watched the video, I was like, wow, that's so weird. She never said in the video what she did. She never admitted I was asking people to pay bills that were already paid by not just me, but other people that donated to the Ark as well. And she wants everyone else to chip in on electrical, and that's just ludicrous. That's not what the Ark's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a place, roof over your head. You know, you go work if you can, go work, take care of yourself. Even though I was giving people money for their food and that kind of thing, she still wanted them to chip in. I told her it was wrong. Okay. Hang on one sec. Let me just see if I can pop this video up real quick. Hang on, guys. Give me 1 sec. I'm having a little trouble reducing my screen. Okay, so anyway, so here's the second video Karen did. And let me get the first one up. Okay, so here is the first. This is the second video Karen did. She can tell, you know, she looks a little wrung out. But let me show you something. The first video that she did. Geez, sorry, guys. The first video that she did right here. Okay, she was outside and she was saying how sorry she was that she would speak evil and ask everybody to do something they shouldn't be doing, and was like, here's my apology, Johnny. And the Lord told me, don't believe a word of it. True, Corey?
True. Yep.
And I was like, what? Don't believe a word of it. And then I analyzed the video, and she never admitted what she did. So I wrote her an email back, and I said, you know, you never even actually said what you had done, like spoken evil and all that. So maybe you should have, like, you know, whatever. So she did a second video, and here's the second video. So she did a second video, and here's, let's see, let me go back here. Here's the second video she did to address it. Like, well, okay, the first video, I didn't really answer everything. So this was her second video to explain more. She still didn't do it. She still didn't really own it. But let me show you the most disturbing and the scariest thing about the whole deal. Ready? This is terrifying. So Karen sends me this. And let me make sure I pop up the right one that's got the writing on it so y'all can read it. Hang on one second. Okay, so Karen had sent me an email that said, the Lord took me to Hebrews 12 and I received it. I asked for a word from Father. My condition does not seem to be permanent. All glory to God. I circled this in red. I put it up there to remind me, so I just kind of copy pasted that. But right here is the page that she had circled malleable. capable of being hammered into shape, adaptable, malleable. So Karen is saying that, Jonathan, I know that, I've spoken contemptuously about you and spoken evil and about you and been, degrading and, moved by ill will towards others. And here's the word the Lord showed me. So she cast a lot, which is what I do sometimes. I tell people don't do it unless, it's not something I don't believe you should really do unless the Lord really wants you to do it. Now watch. If I had told you that the Lord told me that you were speaking contemptuously about me, and you said, well, I'm going to cast a lot, and you grabbed a thesaurus and you opened it up, and it said these words on it. It said, malice, ill will, intending evil, unkindness, spiteful. Oh, you mean like it would be really nice if everybody paid their fair share. That's what she said. That's why I confronted her. Why are you being so spiteful to the tenants? That's not right. Why are you yelling at me saying, it wasn't you, Johnny, it was the Lord that healed me? What? Why would you say that to me? She wrote me an email saying, Johnny, you may have an open door to the Lord, but here's what the Lord showed me. And I confronted her. I'm like, why would you talk to me like that? It's like you hate me, Karen. That's what the word malice and contentious means, contemptuously. So here is the word ill will, slander, misrepresent, malignment, feeling of extreme ill will. It also malignant, she has cancer, malice, unkindness, and she chose to leave out these words over here and make sure they weren't part of her photograph. And so what I did is I heard the Lord tell me, get a dictionary and open the dictionary and look at the word malleable. That's what I heard the Lord tell me to do. So I did. I went and looked at malleable, and he told me to walk it back, which is what I did. And I'm kind of going to the beginning. Here we go. I'm going to click through all, because the Lord told me this is what you should do. Go back and walk it back. And so I did. And when I was looking above, beyond malleable, there's the word malignant. There's the word malign. There's the word malicious. Now let's just walk it back. Okay. Then there's the word malign, malicious, malice, malfunction, to fail to function in a normal manner, satisfactory. And then here is malfeasance, evil doing. Malfeasance is like when you're doing the wrong thing, like maybe, possibly you're managing the ark, possibly, and what was going into the ark. Malevolent, wishing evil on others. Ill will towards others. Maleficent, hurtful, criminal, malfeasance. Okay, so these are the words that were on the same page, and you can tell because if you go to Karen saying, well, look, the Lord showed me malleable. I'm like, yeah, but he also showed you the exact same words that I told you were doing. Malice, ill will, moved by evil. I said, you're speaking evil. You're speaking contemptuously. That's what the word malign means, to speak contemptuously. Can you imagine if you open a book, like, well, Johnny said I'm doing this, and you open a book, it says malign, malice, malfeasance, maleficent? I think I'll pick malleable. It's like, no, own it. Say, yeah, wow, the Lord nailed me. Everything you said I was doing, Johnny, it was right on the page I opened up to. Maligner, ill will, malign, malice, maligner, maleficent, malcontent, which is exactly what was going on. So that's what changed. So Corey's here as a witness. I said, you know what, guys, y'all have opened the door. Y'all need to just pray. Y'all need to just stop what you're doing. Don't do it. Start praying. Ask God to forgive you. And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. They wrote me letters saying how sorry they were. The Lord told me, don't believe it. None of it. I was like, that's crazy. And then I said, what's the deal? He showed me treacherous camouflage. I'm just being honest. And I was like, that's weird. Treacherous and camouflage. Let's talk about the twin female system. I'm talking about the system from the beginning of the earth, because this is fascinating to me. This is mind-boggling. So from the beginning of the earth, there was a twin female serpent system that started the whole thing. Let me prove that by bringing up one of my folders that proves that's exactly true. There was a twin female system that started this whole thing. And let me pull up. There you go. Here is the twin system, twin female that started the whole thing. There is two serpents. There's the Vatican serpent wearing a crown, and here's the audience hall, twin serpents. The Lord proved to me that parthenogenesis is what started in Genesis 1. Now, here's the thing. There's been nothing but ill will since then. Now, listen. When the Lord told me that she's continued and she denied it again, then I went to the tenants. I went to Zach. I went to Alex and Alyssa. I went to Eric and Susie, who were witness. I went to Jack, who did our security. And I found out a lot of stuff I did not know. They didn't want to tell me because they didn't want to ruin a night under the stars. And they knew that it would just blast me. So during that time, while I was over there working diligently on getting that building ready, Karen was over on the deck of the cabin, her cabin, and she wasn't happy with the fact maybe that I wanted to put some grass in the little area where they were standing inside the gate, just a little area of grass. I was going to put some sod down to make it nice for everybody, and I think I was going to put a sliding glass door in behind the two barn doors. And Karen was over there because she wants to be in charge no matter what. And she was telling the people that are members of the Ark, I'm about to tell Jonathan to pack his shit and get the fuck out of here. Those are facts. I've talked to different people. They heard the same thing. They all had the same exact testimony. Yes, Karen absolutely said that. I was like, that's crazy. She said that? And see, I didn't know any of this. And I had already confronted her about her maligning me and speaking evil. I didn't know she was saying, I'm going to tell him back his shit and get the fuck out. Also, before the get-together, Jack, who was in charge of security, because he was in charge of security for Grand Junction, Jack Lamb. So Jack called me and he was upset, disturbed, because Karen had told him that anyone that wanted to bring a gun could bring a gun. It's her property. Anyone that wants to bring a gun can bring a gun. I'm like, that's insane. I was like, well, wait a minute. So I had gone to Houston. I said, Karen, Jack told me that you said this, and you know what? I'll call the whole thing off because I'm responsible for the well-being of all the people that show up there, and I'm not letting some kook from YouTube show up, hey, how's it going? I love you guys. I was like, whatever. If there's only two guys that have guns, if Jack has a weapon and Shannon who's armed, and, we gave a couple people that, security detail, and Jack was in charge of it, well, then we have control over the situation. And Karen was adamant about, well, I believe in the Second Amendment. Like, so do I. But this is a private party, and no one's going to bring a gun except the people that are security. Or there's no get-together, Karen. This isn't people coming to see you. It's people to come see me and the Ark and to get together. It's not about you. And so Karen was like, okay, that's fine, whatever. And so she was pissed off. She was not happy. But I said, I'll just cancel the whole thing. So that happened. And then we had put in this building, and the building itself was going to be another, it's going to add to the septic system that was already there, that was already kind of laboring. It's not doing the best. I had it drained before the get-together. I told Jim, here's some more money, get the system cleaned out. So at the get-together, if people were using the new bathroom, it wouldn't overflow the septic. Well, Jack had talked to Billy Lojak, who's a good friend of mine who does septics, and Billy said, oh, they're going to be walking around in shit within the first 2 hours. And so Jack called Karen and said, Karen, look, I talked to Billy, and she goes, I don't give a shit. They can walk around in shit up to their ankles. I don't give a shit. And I was like, what? That's insane. You're talking about you don't care if all the guests are walking around shit up to their ankles. I was like, oh, that's malice. That's malignant. That's all these things. Well, when I found these things out, I called Karen, and the Lord had told me in front of Corey, and was Zach here? I was crying.
Yeah, I was here.
So Zach and Corey were here. Y'all were here, yes?
Yes.
Okay, they're sitting right here.
Yep.
The Lord told me, I want you to call Karen and tell her I am removing my blessings from her now. I was in tears, man. I was like, no, Lord, please don't. No. I was begging for Karen. Lord, please don't do it. Please. Please give her, like a chance. Like, she already had all these chances. Saying she's sorry, doing videos. Oh, I'm so sorry. Johnny's who he says he is. But after she says, and y'all can go see the videos. I saved them. I downloaded them. I went to her channel and she's made them not available. They're not available. She's trying to hide them now. But y'all can go watch them on Vimeo. I'll post the links. So here she is, crocodile tears. Oh, I'm so sorry. And then she's talking out of both sides of her mouth. Double-mindedness. She went over to Alex's work and started telling Alex, Johnny's not my prophet. He's not my friend. He's not my pastor. I don't care what Johnny says. But, Johnny's he's everything he says he is. It's like big one. Is Johnny's either not your... And then she said directly to me, you didn't heal me, Johnny, the Lord did. I'm like, I know, I'm his servant. He sent me. And now he's telling me to tell you all your blessings are being removed. Is that when everything changed? There was a sign put up in front of the ark. I get some nonsense letter. Oh, we're selling the property at Ronderosa. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Have y'all even gone to the tenants and said, guys, y'all might need a place to stay? You know what? We're going to sell the place, but there's been a lot of money put in here. We will make sure some of that money goes to help relocate you. And that's when I heard the Lord say to me, now, here's where I'm going to just throw this whole thing out. The Lord told me, don't worry about it, Jonathan. I'll take care of y'all's relocation. I don't know. I mean, maybe this is the relocation we've been waiting for. All of us, I don't know. But I do know this. Jim and Karen have acted in malice. And here's how I know. In front of these guys, I called every member of the ark. Have they told you to find a place? Did they tell you y'all need to look for a place to live? Did they tell you they were going to pull the rug out from under you? Nope. Let me show you what they did. Let me give you the absolute evidence of what Jim and Karen did. Here you go. Karen chose to overlook when she cast a lot that everything I said she did, which is right here. I highlighted this. Okay, I highlighted this and I sent it back to her. And I wrote this letter to Karen. Y'all all need to see this and understand it. I wrote her and I said, to be completely honest with yourself, knowing I had informed you that the Lord God, whom I serve, had alerted me that not only were you showing disdain, malice, I use the word disdain because that's one of the exact words he showed me as well, that you were showing disdain, which means malice, for the people who I am friends with at the ark, but that you were speaking contemptuously about me as well. So if you are asking for a word from the Lord, as I have done by casting a lot, how did it not occur to you that the words malign and malice were right above malleable? Okay, let me hold this one sec. Okay, so yeah, it turned down low. It's too much noise. Just turn it down just so there's just enough blood to blow over here. Okay, so here we go. So when I wrote this, I said, so if you were asking for a word from the Lord, as I have done by casting a lot, how did it not occur to you that the words malign, right here, malign and malice and malignant were right above the word malleable? I just said, the Lord has told me you are speaking contemptuously. That is maligning someone. And she chose to overlook that. And she chose to pick the word malleable because she's the one that circled it. So what I wrote to her was, how did it not occur to you that the words malign and malice were right above malleable? In order to own your behavior, there are two words that are exactly what you were doing, and not to acknowledge those words as well as to conveniently overlooking the essence of the entire situation. The word malign and malice are exactly what I approached you with after the Lord had told me to confront you. And I even said in one of our conversations that just admit it, I blotted out her name. Out of the mouth comes the abundance of the heart, Karen. And somewhere in you is hatred towards me and the people you disrespected, as well as the hateful comments about money, as if they were ne'er-do-wells. that contributed nothing, even after I pointed out that the Lord using me was the source of paying your bills as well. Please look at the obviousness that we're right above malleable is exactly what happened to malign and malice. That sums up the entire situation. You were speaking contemptuously towards others and also about me as a servant of the Lord. That is exactly what to malign means. Also, malice equals ill will, unkindness, hatred. Honestly, if you want to own the Lord's rebuke, shouldn't you consider the very words malign and malice are the exact thing that I called you out on? My fear is that you're being blinded and did not even mention the most obvious correction when you cast a lot. So she decided the Lord was telling her malleable, but even though I told her she was a maligner or she was maligning me, there's the word malign, there's malice, and here's the word malignant. Now, here is the most horrifying thing that I've had to do in a long, long time. The Lord told me to write her a letter the other day when they had told everybody else, we're kicking you out. Here's everybody's text. I got everyone's text and I put them, it's from Jim. Just wanted to let you know that our place in Wallaceville, the cabin in 58 acres, is going to be listed to be sold. That's bad enough. They put a sign out front. They didn't talk to anyone. They haven't called me. I've just been waiting to hear something. I've still made sure Alyssa had money to pay all the bills for the location at Beach City, where Jim and Karen were living with their son, as well as Eric and Susie and Dave the Wave and Megan. I said, here, there's money there for those bills. There's money there for the art. What changed? Well, they want to get rid of the property now. Why? Well, they said because Edith needs help and they're going to move over there. Doesn't matter where they were? I'm just asking. I mean, I don't know. But the point is, they never contacted one person, not one. I've talked to every single person. No one has been informed they should look for a place to stay, or that with the monies that went into the ark, all the monies, all the fixing up, they have not mentioned that they would take one dime out of the $20, $30, $40,000 that went in to help relocate those people. Now, I'm going to state this publicly. I want nothing. Nothing. I'm going to take my shipping containers because they belong to me, and they are not part of the improvements. They were set down there for the night under the stars. But the buildings that were bought, the bathrooms that were installed, everything that was done to improve the property and all the financial resources that went into that, not just for me, but for other people, they don't want to use any of that money to help relocate these people. I think this is the way the Lord's saying, I'm about to relocate everybody. I don't know. I'm just saying it sure adds up, because the parthenogenic twin female system at the end of the world is going to kick everybody out that's not willing to be like them. That's what the end of the world is. Don't you find it odd? Don't you find it odd that right now all this weird shit is hitting the fan? I was like, I almost couldn't believe Karen would be saying the things that she said. I don't care. Let them all walk around and shit up to their ankles. It's like, what? No. And then Jack called me. I'm like, no, I will jump in on porta potties. I don't care what they cost. Other people were willing to put money up. I'm like, I'm not going to let that thing overflow during the get together. And she's like, I don't give a shit. They can walk around and shit up to their ankles. Those are her words. That is malice. That is malignant. So here's what the Lord told me the other day. To write a letter in response, which I did. This is the letter I wrote. I wrote this letter right here. And in response, I told her that the Lord had told me he has taken away his blessing of laying on hands. Right here. The Lord has communicated that the blessing of laying on hands that he used me to implement is now taken away. Okay, so right here is this letter. I'm gonna read this letter out loud because it's a matter of public record, and I don't want there to be any confusion whatsoever, as stated by Jim or Karen, what this letter means. So I'm going to go over it real quick, because I know the way when people get taken in and they're self-deceived, well, then they'll go after things that aren't right. So let's go over it. I've been contacted by several people living at the Ark, which I have. Alex, Alyssa have talked to me. I've talked to other people that were there. I wrote, it is an outreach program that you conceived. So I'm writing this back to Jim as an email response, which in description is an outreach program that you conceived shortly after your profession of Jesus as your Savior. Shortly after you contacted me to baptize you, you told me you were opening your property in Wallaceville to occupants. The Ark is named by you. Okay, everything there is exactly correct. At that point, you sought avenues to fund and begin the arduous task of reforming the property that was in disrepair due to a previous flood. That's all exactly correct. At that time, your sincerity was admirable, and I pledged to help you as much as I could in order to help facilitate your plan. Absolutely. Over the past several years, tremendous efforts and financial benefits were given to you. Most recently, before the Night Under the Stars event, several budgets were given to you and a construction budget specifically for the construction of a building with electrical and plumbing, as well as a deck and all the supporting improvements, trucking and base, fixing roads, etc. And 2 of my personal shipping containers are there as well. And now apparently you seek to expel all the tenants and keep all the improvements without any conversation from me. Just for the record, my shipping containers are not improvements. They are temporarily there for a get-together, and that's where they were being temporarily housed. They are not the improvements. What the improvements are is the Ark building, the deck, the bathroom, and everything that was done, the base that was trucked in, and the fixing up of the place. That's what I'm talking about. All the supporting improvements. I have been the principal source of financial improvements for the well-being of many people. And then right here it says, including your wife and your child as well. Let me make sure that's understood. I gave money to Jim, personal money for him and his wife, because I was concerned they might be dipping into funds, and I didn't want them to ever have to worry about that. So I made sure I said, this is personal bank. If you want to, take some parts you have left over, make me some ARs, I'll give you money for them, whatever. I don't care. Here's some money. Whatever you want to do. That's what I did. I made sure their son Colton, who, God bless his heart, he seems like a very nice kid, but he seems very isolated, locked up in his room all the time. I didn't know if it wasn't because he didn't have any financial ability. So I'd say, here's a $500 gift card. Here's another $500 gift card. Slide $500 under his door, those type things. So that's what that statement means. It says, so I was the principal source of financial improvements and for the well-being of many people, including you and your wife and your child as well. You have refused to contact me, and I've tried to involve third parties. What that is I've asked Jim to call me. Let's talk about what the heck's going on. No one will call me, but Jim, in a letter, when he told me he was selling the Ark, told me to contact Alyssa if I had any questions. And I wrote, why in the hell would I contact Alyssa? What does she have to do with it? So anyway, I said, you have refused to contact me. You've tried to involve third parties, which is clearly a breach of any fiduciary duty, in which you sought to make vast improvements, which you were paid for by others through financial blessings, as well as tremendous amount of money of labor that helped turn the property from dilapidated. Okay, was it dilapidated? Severely. Into a highly livable and accommodating for the original purpose, which was to benefit people that needed a place to have a roof over their heads. Okay, right there, I'm going to hold it. So right there, everything right there is absolutely the truth. Have you guys seen me give Jim and Karen money?
Yes.
Many, many times. Do I give money to the tenants?
Yep.
Yes.
So the tenants have money to buy food and those things. Yes?
Yeah.
Have I been anything but open-handed?
Totally.
Completely
Never
open-handed.
a bird.
I said I will never let this be a burden to you. Anyway, so here we go. After all the work and all the money without even one phone call, because I have not gotten a call since I told Karen the Lord is removing his blessing. That was months ago. It seems like about the time that this thing kind of went on the market a little bit around there.
Yeah.
It looks like it. Okay, without even one phone call to discuss this, you have decided to kick everyone out. And the reason I wrote that is everyone got a text and I got an email saying we're selling the ark, but we're not going to call you, Jonathan, nothing. You have decided to kick everyone out without even mentioning the truth of what is going on, which I just got through telling you guys. If you believe you should keep the financial gains and improvements and kick everybody out without so much as mentioning repayment for the tenant's sake, then you seem to have conveniently thrown everybody's well-being in the dumpster. Okay, right there. Malice, malign, Jonathan, she's speaking contemptuously. That's what she was doing. But she chose to choose the word malleable. Okay, all right. You've chosen to throw everybody's well-being in the dumpster. You who were given so much, even Karen, whom I laid hands on for the recovery of colon cancer, truly one of the many miracles the Lord has performed through me. Now you seek to abandon those occupants whom I and others diligently work to keep in place for their well-being and safety. The Lord who blessed you and your wife, who was all but dead because she was on her way out. When I met Karen, she was on her way out. Have burdened... I'm sorry, the Lord who blessed you and your wife, who is all but dead, have turned your back on the well-being of everyone else. The Bible says, to whom much is given, much is required, Luke 12:48. Apparently, you believe as your wife has openly admitted. She did that in the videos that she's blocked y'all from seeing, but I have them on other channels. Not on YouTube. You can go to Vimeo, and we have them on some other sites. She carries an underlying hatred. Okay, so she does carry an underlying hatred. She said it. Your lives benefited so much. Karen has her health back, and the Ark and Beach City are now highly reformed and improved locations due to the occupancy and the work and finances. Even though you had no income for the past several years, I think it was 6 years. I asked Karen, how long has it been since Jim's worked? Oh, okay. I think it's 4 years. Yes, I think it's 4 years. All your bills were paid through monies given to you. All your bills were paid through the monies given to you, and there was never an accounting for the money. When I say there was never an accounting for the money, let me clear that up. There was never, okay, Johnny, we used this block of money to do all this. Where is all the money all these people gave you? You said you can't pay the bills. You can't, but wait a minute, I gave you enough money to pay everybody's bills for years. But wait, and then I gave you all kinds of other monies, and then some on, here's, money orders for $1,500. Here's money orders for $2,000. Here's wire transfers for $1,500. What about all that? Okay, so I'm making a point there. Okay, she carries an underlying hatred. Okay, let me see. All your bills were paid through the monies given to you. There was never an accounting for the money. I never got a real accounting. When I asked for one in front of Corey, they were upset. When I asked before the night under the stars about money, Karen became immediately hostile and arrogant. Neither one of you were able to give an account, any real account of the monies. And that's why I wrote real account of the monies. There was some brief accounting, like I'm going to use some of this money for this. But when it came down to where is everything really gone, there was never any real account of the monies you had received. Because I did not want to throw a wrench in the project at hand, night under the stars, I deferred and gave you both a clean slate, so to speak, in order to move forward toward the event. This was when I insisted on 3 separate budgets that I again funded to complete the construction and the arrangements for the night under the stars. Now at this point, only due to Karen's hostility that I called into question, has the landscape of the entire situation changed. Okay, let me start right there. Corey, Zach?
Yep.
Okay, now we need to talk for a minute. I'm going to get back to that. I did not find out till after the night under the stars that Jim would go out to the Ark and yell in the faces of Alex and Zach and get up in their grill and be yelling at them and said, Zach sitting right there, he would yelling at them and then said to them, do y'all feel like shit now? And Zach said, yeah, I feel like shit now. And Jim's response was, well, good. Now that you feel like I do, I feel better. Is that true?
That's absolutely what happened.
These are from the people it happened to. This is not hearsay. This is a witness. I talked to Alex, same thing. And as it turns out, some of the angst was he would get a call from Karen and throw the phone in the back of the car because Karen was bullying Jim. Jim checks in with Karen more than anyone I've ever seen. It's kind of odd. So anyway, so here we go. Again, only due to Karen's hostility that I called into question has the landscape of the entire situation changed. She wants everyone out and wants to sell the property. The way I know that is everyone got a text message saying we're selling the property. I had confronted Karen approximately 3 months ago about her very disturbing and hostile comments directed at me and other tenants. At that time, she feigned her remorse. That means she faked her remorse. That was the 2 videos she did and the several emails I got where they wrote letters. She posted videos concerning her maligning me and others, but the time on the shelf has proven her complete insincerity. At this point, I can assure you that the Bible states God is not mocked. Whatsoever man soweth, that must he also reap. Galatians 6. When I had confronted Karen 3 months ago and she tried to lie, I told her that the Lord had communicated to me that her hatred towards me and the others was being pontificated, and after confronting her, she grudgingly admitted her malice directed towards me and several tenants. That's the video she did. That is when I told her the Lord communicated to me he would remove his blessings for her malicious attitude. After so much had been done to improve her life, I was in tears. Let me just stop right there. I was sitting here. No, please don't do it. Please, Lord, don't remove your blessings from her. Please. I begged for Karen. Begged for Karen, who was speaking evil about me. You know what the Lord told me to do? Corey's right here. The Lord told me, send her $1,500. I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. No. The Lord said, send her $1,500. I was like, what? Why? You want me to send her $1,500? Ouch. Send her $1,500 right now. And I was like, so I did what the Lord said. I sent her $1,500. After I sent it to her, the Lord told me, look up $1,500. Look up $1,500 in Strong's. It means several things. One thing it means is plunder and spoil, robbery, taken by robbery. Wow. Let me show you something else it shows. I mean, this is insane. Without a cause, in vain, for nothing. To have done something without in vain and robbery. If you apply that number to the entire situation, I don't think I could have hunted for a number that in the Bible that would have intersected these realities. I mean, I'm showing you guys documented facts. These are documented. Witnesses are right here. This is not hearsay. A witness. I've talked to every other witness. They're willing to come on here and do the same thing I'm doing. Let's go back. Here we go. I was in tears. I prayed again in front of witnesses, imploring the Lord not to punish her by removing his blessings. Corey's act, true or not true?
True.
Were y'all witnesses?
Yep.
Okay. The Lord moved me to call Karen in front of the witnesses. I did as he asked. Today, after seeing where you, Jim, and Karen have moved again with malice again, and what I mean by that is putting for sale signs out. Listen, if you go put for sale signs out in front of property where little kids are living, their parents and other people that are dependent on that all this money's gone into, and all there is a for sale sign, and you haven't shown up and said, hey guys, you know what, we're going to do something. We're going to help y'all relocate. Don't worry about it. Don't freak out. All you do is send a text and put a for sale sign. which is all in question, by the way, because Corey and I called that for sale sign, and he was a little bit like, oh, well, I don't exactly have it. I haven't walked the property, but yeah, I have a signed agreement. If I was a judge, I'd probably go, wow, that doesn't look very good. And here we go. So anyway, I was in tears. I called her in front of witnesses. Then I said, today, after seeing where you and Jim and Karen have moved with malice again, and I wrote in parentheses, remember, no phone call, no open communication, no fiduciary duty. The Lord has communicated that the blessing of laying on of hands he used to implement is now taken away. Okay, I'm going to show you all something because this is just super crazy scary. Let me see if I got to get my extreme readers. I know these look super cool. So let me see. No, hang on 1 second. Let me just get this. Okay, now guys, this is super duper scary stuff what I'm about to show you right here. So let me show you the way this rolled out. This is just nuts. Okay, so I was going through the text messages, but let me show you something. When the Lord told me to get a dictionary and find the word malleable and start walking it backwards, what's above malleable? Malignant, malign, malicious. And that matches, the page Karen sent me so I could see what are those other words. That wasn't this book. This is a totally different book than the pages that I screenshotted. That book right there is not the book I'm holding in my hand. When I was out in my little church building out back praying about all this, and the video that I did the other day, I showed you this. I opened to this page. I opened to this page to show it to you guys. Watch this. So it says malign, maliciousness, malignancy, maligning. See malleable right over there, malleable. See malleable. Okay, but then I went and looked up here, malign. This is like the exact same page in a totally different book. I was like, what? I was like, what the hell? This is right after the Lord told me to do this and confront Karen and tell her he's taken away everything. Her laying on of hands. That book is not the same as the other one that I opened up to see the words in. Now, here's the thing. I only want good to come of everything. That's all I want. I've been praying with Zach and Corey. I'm like, Lord, you have a way of turning bad into good and making good stuff. But that's only when people when King David was confronted, what he did was, I'm guilty as charged. That's what he did. And then everything, well, he still had to deal with consequences. But he was willing to raise his hand and say, I'm guilty as charged. I'm not here to indict Karen or anything or Jim. I'm here to say this is a folder full of facts. Every one of these is factual. Not hearsay. This is in front of witnesses. Zach, were you yelled at by Jim and told what I said on that?
Yes.
Okay. Corey, did you see dysfunctionality at the Ark?
Absolutely.
Between Jim and Karen?
Yep.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time. And so I tried the best I could to put people up so they would have a place. It wasn't my idea to start, but the Lord was behind the whole thing because he wanted those shipping containers at the Ark. Jim named it. I didn't name it. Everywhere I showed up was a rainbow. There's a rainbow when those containers showed up. There's a rainbow when I showed up to get them. There's a rainbow on the drive. There's a rainbow at the Ark when I showed up. Night under the stars. What did the twin female system hide? They hid what our other eye was. That's what the Night Under the Stars was all about. It seems fitting that there needs to be a relocation program. I mean, what comes at the end of the Bible? A relocation program. So, anyway, I find all that mind-boggling fascinating. But this is really scary right here because, like this letter, when the Lord told me to write this letter, He told me to tell them in writing, he is removing his blessing of laying on of hands. It's nothing I want to do. But Nathan, when he showed up to tell David, hey, you're the one that's been lying and covering shit up, David said, I'm guilty as charged. He raised his hand and admitted it. I'm just saying, this is what the Lord told me to do, like Nathan. Okay, so here we go. The Lord has communicated that the blessing of laying on in hands, of the laying on of hands that he used me to implement is now taken away. For the first time I had to make the call in utter disbelief that Karen would malign me of all people, I was in tears and brokenhearted. Today I am sad for both of you, but honestly disgusted and so appalled that so much was done to benefit you both and you scoffed at it. Now your health is taken and your endeavor was in vain. I wondered how anyone, especially Karen, could make the comment, now quote, this is a quote, I don't give a shit if the septic overflows during the event. They can all walk around and shit up to their ankles. That is what Karen said to Jack when we were discussing getting porta potties for the event. I remember the disbelief I had then, but now others have all confirmed the overt hatred. Her statement incorporated her hatred for all the guests as stated, because here's the thing. If she made that statement, I don't give a shit if they all walk around and shit up to their ankles. It's all the guests. Because Karen felt like this thing was about her somehow. I even told her, this is not about you, Karen. People are coming to the art. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to lay hands maybe on some people. By the way, Carla, what I told your husband was it was going to happen in a way he never expected. Get ready. Anyway, so she's making this statement about all the guests. I don't give a shit if the septic overflows during the event. They can all walk around and shit up to their ankles. That is what Karen said to Jack when we were discussing getting porta potties for the event. I remember the disbelief then, but now others have confirmed the overt hatred. Her statement incorporated her hatred not only, there you go. For all the guests, as stated, we were concerned that even the use of the new building in the bathroom, and then I put in parentheses, approximately cost $20,000 plus, not including the actual building purchase, would result in septic overflow. Wow. Such contempt for someone who had stage 4 colon cancer miraculously disappear after the Lord sent me to lay hands on her. I would highly suggest, Jim, that before you align yourself with such a brazenly hateful and unfair course of action, that you watch the videos I have attached and match the words against the contemptuous behavior and the current course of action. This letter is going out to all parties involved, and it will become part of the public record. I just went over this in front of Corey, and when I asked the Lord to give me a word, and Karen's name was on the page. Let me show you what that means. Karen's name was on the page. Ready? I prayed in front of Corey, and I said, Lord, I heard you say that Karen's health is going to fail. And I cast a lot, and it said, fall down, take a tumble, topple, fall flat on their face, come sliding down. So this is the word he showed me, go down, sink down, decline, like her health would all go down. And I was like, take a header, take a nosedive. And so then I said, okay, Lord, you know what? I'm going to call her, but then I did it again. And this was written on the page right here. It said, Karen Sullivan is going to become very ill. Because I heard the Lord say that. I heard the Lord say that a while back. And it says the same thing, collapse, fall, plunge, decrement, waste, decline, languish, wither away. So it said the same thing as what I just read. That's why I said in this letter, the Lord moved me to tell you that he is taking away the laying on of hands. But remember, it wasn't you that healed me, Johnny. It was the Lord. I know that. because the Lord sent me. So either now he will take away your health or maybe all these miracles that happen, maybe I'm not a servant of the Lord God. Parthenogenesis. That's what all this comes down to. The twin female system hates the sheep. The twin female system hates the sheep. They want the sheep out. That's what the end of the world is. They want the sheep the hell off their property, the earth. The host body belongs to the earth. In the end of the world, you'll either serve Satan or get the hell out. Well, I can only say what I've seen as a witness. Jim and Karen both have lied maliciously to me. I had to sit Jim down and confront him over a huge lie that he had spun throughout the people at the Ark. Zach's right here.
Yep, that happened.
Corey, you were there during the interrogations, right?
Yes, I was.
And Jim lied, and he had to admit he lied. Well, when people lie to me, I can't trust them. Lying is not of the Lord God. Karen lied when I said, Karen, the Lord told me you're speaking contemptuously. Oh, no. And then she did 2 videos saying she would. She did. She took her videos down off of YouTube. If you go look at Karen's YouTube channel where the videos were, and I have the links. Hang on one sec. Okay, one sec. Hang on one second. So I just went to the links that were on Karen's channel, and here they are. Video unavailable. Video is private. It used not to be private. So why are you making it private? Are you trying to hide that everything I said is true? I'm a servant of the Most High. I'm required to tell 100% truth. Everything in that letter is 100% true. Some people could try and interpret it differently. Okay. But let's just get to the truth of everything I just stated. Corey and Zach, as witnesses, as people that have seen what I'm talking about, have you seen me say anything that's not true?
No.
Have you seen Karen and Jim firsthand be deceitful and lie to you?
Absolutely, yep.
Okay. There you go. Okay, so now I'm going to post this video, and I'm going to save it, and it's going to go on other platforms. And if anyone were to try in any way, shape, or form say that what I'm saying is not true, then I'm just saying I'm a servant of the Most High. I gave you all the evidence, and I put it in a folder. This evidence has been removed, but I'm going to give you guys links to the very videos right here. I have 2 links to these videos. This is Karen doing her second follow-up video because her first video was crocodile tears, and she never actually admitted what she did. And I called her out on it. I'm like, well, it's nice that you're sending me a video. However, the Lord told me don't believe it. And I said, why didn't you at least admit what you did? So she did a second video, both of which have been taken down. Okay. Now, does anybody need to say anything that I've forgotten? Have I misstated anything?
So remember when you were like, dude, I don't want to call Karen and tell her that the Lord's removing his blessings from her. Like, I'll do it, Lord, but if you can slam dunk it, that's when Trinity sent you the picture of the dove over the world.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
That was just like a slam dunk from the Lord.
Yeah, so, again, there's been so many miracles here. We get to see miracles all the time. Y'all got to see miracles at the night under the stars. The whole room turned to light. But, anyone that would try and demean or say that I'm lying, that's evil. That's straight up evil. Because I'm not a liar. And now, for the record, I, Jonathan Kleck, do not want anything from Jim and Karen. The containers are mine. I have put in $30,000, $40,000 to the Ark, and that was for the well-being of the people that would get to live there. If Jim and Karen want to keep that for themselves, that's okay, but they should probably do something for the people that are there and give them at least $30,000 to relocate, because that's a minimum what was given to them. So I don't care, whatever they want to do. See, the thing is, guys, I can walk away from the Ark and say, okay, guys, sorry, y'all go find a place to stay. I tried. I put a year and 2 years of my life into it. I put bathrooms, trips to Houston, me and the guys working our ass off in the heat and mosquitoes, whatever. We did everything we could. And if Jim and Karen want to keep all that, that's fine. The Lord told me to send them $1,500. I did. Message received. That's it. So anyway, now we're going to pray for everybody. Okay, I'm buzzing. I feel your presence, Father. Thank you. In the name of Jesus, Yeshua. Jesus, I know you know I love Jim and Karen. Of course, I'd like to just shake them real hard. What the hell are you doing? What have you done? Anyway, but I love Jim and Karen, and I love them in Christ. And I hope something really good comes of all this. I pray that the people at the Ark, that you help me open whatever doors need to be opened. And maybe this is where the big door opens and we're done. Because I'm tired of this nonsense. I deal with so much crap in my life that I don't want to see disingenuous ever again in my life, ever. So I'm praying for the well-being of everybody, and I'm praying for the immediate arrival of the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, Jesus. Amen. All right. We love you guys. Peace and grace.